special place on the edge of Wistman's Wood, where there's this amazing standing stone which is known as the Druid stone and the Buller stone. It's actually, it wasn't put here by the Druids. I mean, they may have worshipped it when they were on Dartmoor, but it's quite ancient. And as you can see, it forms almost a gateway with the little stone that's next to it. And the way I see it, as a gateway and stones that seem to form steps that go down into the wood. This is a really special place for me. I've been coming here for about 5 years, and I'm going to show you the woods here and talk about my experiences with the pixie. So I thought I'd stand by the Druid stone, Buller stone as it's called. I call it the faerie stone, pixie stone. Who knows who put it here? It's been here a long time anyway. So the first time I discovered this stone, and this is one of the stories that's going to be in my Pixie book. Oh, I can just see something interesting over there. I'll go and have a look at that in a minute, what that is. I hope the Pixies are listening. I'm telling your story. So the first time that I came to this stone was 5 years ago, 2016, when my health wasn't very good, and I'd recently got back in touch with the fairies. I've had contact with them all my life. I've sort of had to find my own way with the fairies and find out what they are and read around things and find my own truth about who they are, and I'm still discovering that. And I'd read about Wistman's Wood. I hadn't been here for a few years when I came in 2016, and this time I was coming from a interest in pixies and fairies. So it's quite a long walk here from where you park, the main car park. So it's quite an achievement just to get here that day. And I felt called to keep walking rather than just staying at the entrance, the main entrance to the wood, far end, that lots of people just stop at and have a picnic. And I could hear my voice being called, and they were telling me, keep walking, there's something interesting we want you to see. And I could also hear giggling. This is, clairaudiently, psychically hearing this. And this is very common around fairy experiences, or especially pixies, to hear giggling. So I kept walking, and then I came to this part of the wood, which is right at the end of this section of the woodland. And there's this amazing stone that I'd never heard of before. There's some information on it online. I'll put a link in the comments for this video. And I asked permission to enter the wood because I intuitively felt it was a gateway. I was just in awe of it. I still am. It's such an amazing stone. And they said, first, we want you to do something. First initiation. So I thought, well, maybe maybe they want me to clear some trash before I come in, because I'd heard, or I'd felt intuitively, that that's what the fairies wanted me to do. So I looked around and saw some trash. I'd brought a plastic bag with me. I tend to carry one with me to collect any rubbish I find on my walks. Not all the time, sometimes I forget, but when I remember to. And luckily that day I had one with me, so I picked up the trash and I said, "Oh, can I come in now?" And they said yes. And before I came into the woods, I took a picture of the stone. And above the stone, as you can see, I can show you now, there's sorry, I have to go this way, won't I? There's an oak tree, look. Nice view up my nose. I went into the woods, spent some time in the wood meditating. I did some sketching, made some notes. Went home that night feeling really relaxed and happy that I'd made it to the woods and spent some time with the fairies there. Saw lots of faces in the trees whilst I was there, tree spirits. Strange shaped trees that looked like gnomes and pixies. And at home I posted some pictures online, and somebody said, "Oh, there's a little figure in the tree above the rock." And I looked and I thought, oh yeah, so in the light and the branches was this little figure that I intuitively felt was a pixie. And I started researching them and then found out that their appearance, as described in folklore, is very similar to the way that I saw this pixie. So he was very old and wizened looking. His hair was made of the lichens that grow on these trees. So he was really made of nature, so he would just blend in. You know, you wouldn't be able to see him if you're walking through the woods, because it's very camouflaged, and that's what fairies tend to be, unless they want to appear in a way that's, you know, typically stands out as the typical way that we expect to see fairies, you know, in red and green outfits. But I saw him as very merged in his environment. He had very bright eyes, very bright. I mean, the way I draw him is with dark eyes, but that day his eyes were really catching the light, and they were almost like shining, well, they were shining bright green light out of them. A bit disturbing. But I intuitively felt that he was benevolent, even though pixies are very mischievous, so you have to be careful, you have to watch yourself around them, because they can play tricks on you. So that then inspired that visit to Wisman's Wood inspired lots of artwork of this pixie I'd seen, and other fairy folk that I'd sensed in the woods and kind of picked out, inspired from my photographs, faces in trees and figures and that sort of thing. So that was the start. It's a really special place, because it started off my new phase of my journey with the fairies after being away from connecting with them or anything really nature based for a long time. I'd been connecting with angels as part of my health and well-being, and they'd really supported me, but I suddenly felt my purpose was to work with the fairies and the angels of nature. And so now I'm writing about the pixies and illustrating them, because I'm an artist as well, and I'm looking forward to releasing my book. And I've got other books as well about fairies that I want to get out there as well, and lots of artwork, so it all takes time and I'm a busy mum, and a carer as well. But this book is on the way, it's being birthed at the moment, and coming here today is part of reconnecting with that.